What's up? Another week of training in the books. Here's my video recap. Starting off with day one. This is some competition squats 4x6 at 440. This definitely felt like work. I feel like my depth is pretty good here. I'm maintaining pretty good positions, but it was challenging. It also feels like a milestone though, because I remember when I was first doing a 5x5 and 400s, and what a milestone that felt like, what an accomplishment that felt like, and now to be able to take 4 sets of 6 in the mid 4s with some room left in the tank feels pretty good. This was set 1. Also did 4 sets of 6 on touch and go bench at 145 kilos, just about 320 pounds. Cruise through these. These feel like work again, but not too bad. I was thinking I was going to treat these more like a bunch of singles, and I didn't do a very good job of that. Just kind of throwing them around, but again, they moved fine. Shoulders and elbows to some extent, less so the elbows this week, but shoulders continue to feel a little cranky this block, and I wonder how much of it has to do with the 2 days of low bar squatting. I'll mention that again later, but thinking about that this week. For my rear delts, I did these face pulls, and I did triceps real quick and didn't include the video here, but banded face pull for the rear delts. There's the work. I didn't include my incline bench, but I did those at 75 with a little higher incline and no band this week. On to day 2. Here's how I've been warming up for my banded deadlifts. I've been doing banded one leg RDLs in my warm up. These are surprisingly challenging. You see me there losing my balance. So I've been working a lot on trying to get my feet to root better and trying to maintain positions better. I do think they're getting better, but I do still think I'm not very good at them. So anyway, that's good. I usually use these as a warm-up with my pull-ups or chin-ups. So here's 8 reps of the banded RDLs, and then we'll see 8 reps of chin-ups. I'm going to give myself just a little bit of help at the bottom. So I can use this as a warm-up and then go straight into the banded deadlift, and I can be pretty ready to go, which is what I've been doing pretty much this whole block. So 6 sets of 2. I kept the weight the same as last week, 190 kilos. This workout was done early morning, actually Friday morning around, I think I made it to the gym around 7:30, which is a very abnormal time for me to train. But it worked out fine. I just had to move some things around in my schedule to make that happen. So 6 sets of 2 at 190 on the banded deads, and that worked fine. Felt a little heavier than it probably should have, but I think everything was good. Here's my horizontal pull variation here. One arm dumbbell row. I like to do these with just my hand on my knee, no extra help support, and then I'm trying to maintain some tempo here too. So 2 count squeeze at the top, 3 counts on the way out. These are one of my favorite row variations, and then as I said before, I'm kind of changing up my rows every session, or most sessions anyway. I'm kind of doing that with triceps and rear delts as well. So that wraps up day 2, which happened Friday morning. And here's a shot at a board. 6x2 at 190, and then the accessory stuff. Day 3 happened Saturday morning, so a little over 24 hours after day 2. I just decided to be a little more aggressive and kind of go after the squats. Things were feeling good. This is 230, a 5 kilo jump from last week. And I actually felt like depth was a little better. Still pretty questionable, but maybe a little better than last week. I was more aggressive. Bar speed was better than either of the last 2 weeks at 225. So I'm going to count that as a win. Even though, again, if I were closer to competition, I'd be a little more worried about the depth. Down sets, I just went up by 1 kilo from 215 to 216 because I'm still over where I'm supposed to be. So 3 sets of 5 at 216. Again, as I said before, I remember when 5s at 405 felt like an accomplishment, and now this is more like, this is closing in on 480 here, 475. Felt pretty solid. Definitely felt like work, but felt solid. Depth is, okay-ish here. Still on the borderline, but I'm holding good positions. I think the extra low bar squatting is what's putting extra stress on my shoulders, though. My bar position's pretty low, which helps me maintain my positioning better, but does put a lot of stress on the shoulders, and I think that's what's doing me in. Top set of 3 on bench press, 166. I just went up 1 kilo from last week, and I think it moved pretty much the same speed as last week. So I think I just went up I think I maintained the same weight for my 3 sets of 5, 153, and they moved fine. This also feels like a milestone. I don't know that I've done sets of 5 at that weight before. Stole this from, what's her name? She's a powerlifting physio or something like that on Instagram. Anyway, I like this. Really, really depress the scapula and then do the face pull. So this was my rear delt variation on day 3. And I think I throw in the triceps here too, which I did with the cable attachment here, or the rope style attachment. Spud's tricep blaster. I haven't done this variation in a while, so kind of hits the long head a little bit more. I'll probably go back to something a little more barbell specific next week. All in all, day 3 I count as a success. 3 rep PR on bench and a 4 rep PR on squat, and some good quality 5s. Here's my slingshot work from today. That was also morning session, but late morning. 3 sets of 6 at 170. Still feels like it's moving fine. Again, my shoulders felt a little cranky kind of after this work, but it all moved fine. Top set on deadlifts, I went up another 5 kilos. Here's 260. This felt hard. I was having a little grip issue on the left hand today, and also the second rep I felt like it was a little too far away from me off the floor, and so it was a little harder than it should have been. So I rated that an 8.5. And therefore I was conservative on my down sets. This is 240, but these all moved really well, and I think they're well within the RPE range. Try to hold the top rep here a little bit, and then the third set I held for a good 8 seconds to try to work on grip a little bit. Back's been a little wonky here at the end of the week, particularly today. So instead of doing the front planks and the rows, I did this side plank row variation. Not gonna get a whole lot of lat work out of it, but some anti-rotation, some core stability. The side planks seem to bother my back less than the front planks do sometimes. So that's how I rounded out my week. All in all, PRs across the board on the comp lifts. Feeling pretty good, ready for one last week of the block.